Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Let me tell you something today that could change your life. Life does not reward hesitation, it rewards boldness. It rewards the person who steps up, who takes a swing, who raises their hand and says, I will try now. I'm not talking about recklessness. I'm not talking about charging into a situation with no thought or preparation. No, I'm talking about courage. I'm talking about taking initiative. I'm talking about getting off the sidelines and into the game. While others are still wondering if the time is right, one of the greatest barriers to success, fulfillment, and growth in life is hesitation. It's that split, second pause, that lingering doubt, that quiet inner voice that says, maybe later, maybe I'm not ready. And while you're standing still, uncertain and unsure, life moves on. Opportunities pass, doors close, and someone bolder, maybe not even smarter or more talented, just bolder, steps in and takes what could have been yours. That's a tough truth, but it's one you've got to confront head on. Life does not wait for the hesitant now, let me be clear. Everyone feels fear, everyone second guesses themselves at some point. The difference between those who win and those who watch is this. Winners feel the fear and move forward anyway. They act while others hesitate. They understand that progress never comes from standing still. Think about your own life. How many chances have you let pass by? A job you didn't apply for because you weren't ready. A relationship you didn't pursue because you feared rejection. A conversation you avoided. A talent you ignored. A dream you shelved because hesitation stepped in and convinced you to wait. And what did that hesitation give you in return? Regret. See, hesitation is deceptive. It often dresses itself up as wisdom. It tells you to wait for the right time, or think it over some more, or play it safe. And sometimes, that voice is worth listening to, when there are real dangers, when the facts aren't in. But far more often, that voice is just fear whispering excuses into your ear. And if you listen to it too long, you'll end up living a life filled with what-ifs. Boldness breaks that cycle. Boldness says, I may not have all the answers, but I'm moving forward. It's not reckless, it's not impulsive, it's proactive. Boldness understands that action creates clarity. You don't wait until you feel confident to take action. You take action to become confident. What people often miss is that confidence isn't something you magically have before you begin. It's something you build through doing, and you only do when you dare. That's why boldness is so powerful. It overrides hesitation and gets you in motion. And once you're in motion, momentum builds, decisions become easier. You start proving to yourself that you can handle it, that you are capable, and that you don't need to be perfect to make progress. And here's something else. Boldness inspires others. People are drawn to those who move with purpose. Whether you're in business, in leadership, or just trying to make a change in your personal life, boldness creates energy. It shows you're serious. It communicates belief in yourself and your mission. And more often than not, when people see someone stepping up boldly, they respond. Opportunities begin to appear. Resources start to align. People begin to say yes to you, but it all starts with you saying yes to yourself. So the next time hesitation tries to take the wheel, challenge it. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What's the worst that could happen? And what's the best that could happen if I take action today? Often, the risks are far smaller than we imagine, and the rewards are far greater than we expect. Boldness doesn't guarantee success, but it guarantees movement, and movement is what leads to success. Standing still gets you nowhere. Waiting for the stars to align, waiting for the perfect time, it's a slow and silent way to waste your life. So choose boldness, choose action. Don't wait to be ready, be willing. And remember, hesitation keeps you stuck, but boldness breaks the chain and sets you free, because life, in all its richness, doesn't reward the careful, the cautious, or the reluctant. People often talk about courage like it's a rare gift, something reserved for heroes, legends, or the naturally fearless. But that's a misunderstanding. Courage is not a talent or a genetic trait. It's not something you're born with, like eye, color, or height. No, Courage is a decision. It's a choice you make often quietly. In moments when no one else is watching, you don't wake up one morning with courage in your pocket. You don't stumble across it in a book or inherit it from your parents. Courage isn't lightning, it's a spark. And you light that spark every time you choose to move forward in the face of fear, doubt, or uncertainty. The problem is, we've been conditioned to think that courage means being unafraid. But real courage isn't about the absence of fear, it's about doing the thing despite the fear. Fear is natural. It shows up anytime you face the unknown, anytime you stretch beyond what's comfortable. That's normal, that's human. But what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck is the choice to act in the presence of that fear. Think about the most courageous people in history. Did they feel fear? Of course they did, but they made a decision. They said, "I will not let fear decide my future. I will not sit on the sidelines of my own life." That's the moment courage is born. Not when the fear disappears, but when you choose to move anyway. Every day, you're faced with choices. Some small, some life-changing. Do I speak up or stay silent? Do I take the leap or keep playing it safe? Do I try again or walk away? And in each of these choices lies an opportunity to be bold or to back down. That's it. That's the crossroads where courage lives. Not in grand cinematic moments, but in daily decisions. And here's the beauty of it. The more often you choose courage, the easier it gets. Like a muscle, courage grows through use. The first time you step outside your comfort zone, your hands might shake, your voice might tremble, but you do it anyway. And when you do, you build trust in yourself. You prove that you can survive fear, and even thrive through it over time. Your self-image begins to change. You stop seeing yourself as the timid person who hesitates and start seeing yourself as someone who takes action. That shift in identity is powerful, and it doesn't come from waiting to feel courageous. It comes from consistently choosing courage in moments that matter now. Will it always go perfectly? No. You might stumble, you might fall, but courage doesn't guarantee ease, it guarantees growth. Every bold step you take teaches you something. Even when things don't go the way you hoped, you're stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the next time. And the people who go far in life aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who decide, no matter what happens, I will keep choosing courage. You see, there are two kinds of pain in life: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline says, I'm going to choose courage even when it's uncomfortable. Regret says, I wish I had. One leads to growth, the other leads to what-ifs. The choice is always yours, so don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for the fear to disappear. Decide. Choose courage again and again, as many times as it takes. You don't need to be a superhero. You just need to be someone who shows up and says, today, I will not let fear make my decisions. Because when you understand that courage is a choice, you take back your power. You stop waiting and you start living. And once you start living with courage, consistently, intentionally, there's no telling how far you can go, because life doesn't reward those who wait. Life rewards those who choose to be bold. Failure is one of those words most people avoid. It's uncomfortable, it's messy, and let's be honest, it stings. But here's the truth that bold people understand. Failure is not the enemy, it's the entrance fee to success. If you want the rewards that life offers to the bold, you must be willing to accept the price of admission. And that price often includes stumbling, falling, and sometimes falling hard. People who wait for a perfect plan, the perfect timing, or a guarantee of success before acting never get started. Why? Because those things don't exist. The only thing that exists in the real world is action, and the possibility that it might not work out. But here's the twist. Every successful person has a trail of failures behind them, and not just minor ones. Big, embarrassing, painful failures. But they didn't stop. They didn't quit. They didn't let failure define them. They let failure refine them. That's what boldness is. It's not charging ahead without fear of failure. It's charging ahead knowing failure might come, but doing it anyway. It's understanding That failure is part of the path, not a detour from it. It's the proof that you're in motion, that you're trying, that you're doing more than just dreaming. Failure teaches. It educates. You can read books, listen to lectures, study the greats, but nothing teaches you like a hard fall. It reveals your weaknesses, sharpens your focus, and forces you to grow. Every failure carries within it the seeds of wisdom, if you're bold enough to look closely. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life don't come after success. They come after falling flat, getting back up, and doing it differently. Let me tell you something worth remembering. You don't fail when something doesn't work out. You fail when you stop trying. Failure isn't final unless you let it be. That job you didn't get, that business that didn't survive, that conversation that didn't go well, that's not the end of the story unless you close the book, keep writing, keep moving, keep showing up. What separates bold people from the rest is not that they never fall. It's that they've made peace with the fall. They know it's part of the process. In fact, the willingness to fail is what makes you unstoppable. Because once you remove the fear of failure, what's left to hold you back? There's a saying I like: fall forward. If you're going to stumble, let it be in the direction of your goals. Take the shot, make the move, try the thing. Because even if you don't succeed the first time, you're further ahead than the person who never tried. Boldness accelerates learning. It forces growth. It builds resilience. When you act boldly, you might fall, but you'll also rise quicker because you've built the muscle of recovery. You know how to adjust. You know how to keep your vision in front of you, even when your feet slip underneath you. That's what makes bold people so powerful. They get hit, but they don't stay down, and here's the beauty of it. The more you fail, the less it scares you. You begin to realize that failure didn't destroy you. In fact, it made you sharper, stronger, and more prepared for the next opportunity. Every time you fall and rise again, your confidence grows, not from success alone, but from surviving what you once feared would break you. So if you're bold enough to chase something big, be bold enough to embrace the bumps and bruises along the way. They are not signs you're doing it wrong. They are signs that you're in the arena, and only those in the arena ever get a shot at victory. Remember, life doesn't reward the perfect. It rewards the persistent. It rewards the doers. It rewards those who dare, who risk, and yes, who fail. And keep going anyway, because failure isn't the end of the bold path. It's part of it. We all have good intentions. Everyone wants a better life. We all want to be healthier, wealthier, wiser. We want better relationships, more success, more fulfillment. But here's the catch. Wanting doesn't make it happen. Wishing doesn't make it real. Hoping, planning, even believing, none of it matters without one thing: action. Intentions are like seeds. They carry the potential for something great, something meaningful. But if you never plant them, if you never take action, then they never grow. They sit unused, full of possibility, but completely powerless. And that's the mistake many people make. They confuse good intentions with meaningful progress. But the truth is, life doesn't reward what you mean to do. It rewards what you actually do. You don't get paid for what you intended to build. You don't lose weight because you intended to go to the gym. You don't grow a business because you thought about starting one. And no one is going to knock on your door and say, "You know, I've been hearing about your potential. Here's the life of your dreams." That's not how it works. The world responds to effort, to movement, to execution. Action creates momentum. It builds evidence. When you take action, you're sending a signal to the world, yes, but more importantly, to yourself. You're saying, "I'm serious. I'm committed. I'm ready." And with each step forward, your confidence grows, not because you're guaranteed to succeed, but because you're proving that you're capable of moving. And moving people are hard to stop. The challenge is, action feels risky. It's easier to stay in the safety of your thoughts, your plans, your dreams. There's no failure in intention. There's no rejection, but there's also no reward. It's all potential, no payoff, and eventually those unacted intentions begin to weigh you down. They become regrets, silent reminders of the things you could have done, should have done, but never did. And that's a heavy burden to carry. Bold people understand this. They don't wait until they feel completely ready. because they know that readiness is often a myth. They act, and through action, they figure things out. You don't need the full map before you begin. You just need to take the next step. Then the one after that. Clarity often comes after action, not before it, and here's something powerful. Even small actions count. You don't have to leap. You just have to move. One phone call, one workout, one decision to stop waiting and start doing. That's how change begins. Not in the grand gesture, but in the consistent step forward now. Will every action produce instant results? No, but that's not the point. The point is, action moves you closer. It separates you from the crowd. Most people stay stuck in intention. You rise above when you become a person of movement, and the more you act, the more your life begins to change, not just on the outside, but on the inside. You start to trust yourself more. You start to realize that you are capable of handling challenges, that confidence opens new doors, attracts new opportunities, and creates a cycle of progress that no amount of wishing could ever produce. Intentions are easy. Anyone can have them. Action takes effort. It takes courage. It takes discipline. But it's also the only thing that creates real, lasting results. So if there's something you've been waiting on, some decision, some project, some change, it's time to stop waiting. Start. Take a step. Do it now, not later. Because later too often becomes never. The life you want is not waiting for your intention. It's waiting for your movement, and every minute you spend only thinking about what you want is a minute you could be working toward it. Don't settle for being someone who means well. Become someone who moves well. Someone who gets up, shows up, and does the work, because in the end, life doesn't hand you rewards for your intentions. Life rewards action. So let me leave you with this: life doesn't hand out rewards for hesitation, fear, or wishful thinking. Gives its treasures, its success, its breakthroughs, its joy, of those who are bold enough to act, brave enough to fail, and disciplined enough to keep moving forward. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to take the step, willing to speak up, willing to go after the life that's calling you, because in the end, life doesn't reward the timid, the hesitant, or the excuse makers.